In this demo, we will define custom validations in our application to make sure the data meets some predefined business rules. In this module, we already have the order detail screen, with a form with input fields related to an order. First, we will guarantee that an order with status new or pending must have a due date in the present or future. Let's open the Save on Click action to implement this validation. Let's start by adding an if to the action flow. The condition of the if must reflect the business rule we want to validate. Let's open the expression editor to set the condition. In the expression editor, we can find the getOrderById aggregate, which holds the information about the order being edited or created. We need to use it to implement the condition. If we expand the aggregate to get to the order, we want to get the order status and get the ones with status as new or pending. And the due date to be equal or greater than today's date, which we can easily get with the built-in function curDate. Let's give a proper name to the label of the if to better identify it in the flow. If the condition is not evaluated to true, it means the business rule is not met. So, we need to invalidate the input field of the due date. For that, let's drag an assign to the right of the if, connecting the two nodes together to create the true branch. Let's swap the connectors so that the new one is the false branch. On the assign, we need to set the valid property of the due date input field to false, and a validation message to help the user understand why the application indicates the data is not valid. Now, we just need to connect the assign to the next if in the flow. Let's publish and open the app in the browser. Let's create a new order, with the due date in the past and the status as new, and click on the Save button. We can see that the validation message appeared next to the due date input, as expected. Going back to Service Studio, let's add a second validation. Now, we want to make sure that if the due date of the order is on the next 2 days, the priority of the order needs to be high. Let's drag a new if to the flow and connect the previous assign to this new if. Let's set the label to urgent order and open the expression editor to set the condition. For the condition, we need to calculate the difference between the current date and the due date of the order. For that, we need to use the diffDays built-in function, which returns the difference in days from the second date to the first. To complete the condition, we need to make sure that the order priority is high. Now, we just need to connect the false branch to an assign, just like we did in the previous validation. In the assign, let's set the valid property of the priority input field, which is drop-down 1, to false, and a relevant validation message. Let's publish and open the app in the browser. Let's create a new order, with the due date being 2 days from now and the priority as medium. As expected, the validation message appears indicating that the priority should be high. When implementing validations, it is important to follow this pattern, to verify all the conditions, regardless if they fail or not. This way, the end user will be able to see all the invalid inputs at once on the screen, and is able to fix them before submitting the data again.